Ohio. Just as the youth and old age come to the body, the embodied soul in this body, in the same manner, is attaining another body. The wise man is not deluded at that. When it comes to physical health, mental health, family health, prosperity, and social well-being, it is common for us to suffer from depression. Due to physical fatigue, due to mental fatigue, we are unable to help ourselves in our duties. The first lesson that Kannan taught Arjuna, in whatever state of mind he was in, if one has the right strong mind, can succeed in fulfilling his duty successfully. Death is certain for the born, and rebirth is certain for the dead. Therefore, you should not feel grief for what is inevitable. Atma is imperishable. The body is indestructible. So you have to do your duty and worry about anything. You cannot escape from it at all. Success, failure, pleasure, suffering, all in the business. Do it gently, without thinking about anything else. Don't worry about the result. Be equal in victory and defeat. If you are equanimous in success and failure, in joy and sorrow, then your peace and bliss will be established in you. If one shows all his inadequacies, he will not be attached to anything. He will get peace and happiness. Holding pleasure and pain, gain and loss, victory and defeat as life. Gird yourself up for the battle. Thus you shall not incur any sin. Three truths one must keep in mind. God is in all living things. All things in the world depend on each other. You can't keep calm even for 1 second. Each must achieve unity with the predator that resides in it. Everyone should do charity. Do charity, but don't expect anything in return. Unselfish service will burn your desire. This is known as yajna or sacrifice. If you desire less, you can achieve peace and supreme happiness. To work alone, you have the right, and not to the fruits. Do not be impelled by the fruits of work, nor have attachment to inaction. Man's will is weak. It is easier for a man to do evil than to do good. So gradually honesty reduces in mankind. Dharma in the world is reduced. Adharma becomes strong. And God has given a oath here. When dharma reduced and adharma increases, to establish dharma, I'll come to this world. If one realizes God is everywhere, your life will become divine. From anger, there comes delusion. From delusion, the loss of memory. From the loss of memory, the destruction of discrimination. And with the destruction of discrimination, he is lost. He who likes nothing and hates nothing is the eternal ascetic, said Bhagavan. You must be desireless to feel oneness with everyone. You have to get rid of attachment. This is a bit difficult, yet this is sacrifice. Next is karma balatyaha, the pursuit of the fruit of action. When you do small service, don't expect to be rewarded big. That service will be your practice. In all living things, you must see God. Don't go behind the materialistic things. They waste your life and weaken your mind. That man attains peace who, abandoning all desires, moves about without longing, without the sense of mind and without egoism. These things happen only by suppressing the mind. A mind that does not in your control is your enemy. A strong mind is your friend. How to control the mind? It can only be done by cultivation and zeal. Sit alone and meditate and chant the name of God. A state of gentle bliss prevails. It is not so easy to control the mind. God is the mind that has no recollection of sin and no movement. If it is not achieved in this birth, it will be continued in the next birth. Try to practice meditation. No man can attain freedom from activity by refraining from action, nor can he reach perfection by merely refusing to act. Sitting alone and meditating on God every day is not enough. One must have thought of Him. Even when he woke up, only then the mind continued to think of God. The supreme pritya of God is Jivatma, the greatest of all living things. He is the divine book of all life. He is good in all the good things we see. He is the voice of the wise man. He is the strength of strong man. He is the kirti of kirtiman. A man who is influenced by the presuppositions of sattva, raja and tamas does not know the God who is close to him. Because of his illusion, many people pray God for many reasons. But wise man who learned Bhakti, Yogam in the previous births does not desire anything and has desireless devotion to the Lord. He will soon realize God. Go on efficiently doing your duty at all times without attachment. Doing work without attachment, man attains supreme. In this earth, there is end to the life. In the end, one must attain salvation or rebirth. The lost memory in this birth will be followed by the next birth. If you think of God, the moment you leave the body, you will become one with God. At the end of the day, who will think? So whoever think of God incessantly during his life will be able to think of God in the last days. So from now on, worship the God without interruption. it becomes a mental habit. You can think of God at the moment of death. Then only we do not return to this world of suffering and death. You are destined to attain moksha. In fact, all actions are being performed by the modes of Prakriti, primordial nature. God is the father, mother of this world. It is because of the love He is having for us. He is in the form of a man and resides in us. Wise man knows all about this. One who is very happy is one who regards God as his everything and attains his unfailing divine protection in any situation. In return, God doesn't want anything from you and what you can't do. He is expecting only the love of your heart. If you give Him a flower, a leaf, a fruit, or a cup of water with devotion, He will be happy. Whatever you do it for Him. Pray God, as I will live for you. No matter what happens to you, you will not collapse. The path of devotion is easy for everyone. In a world of suffering and death, nothing but power is attainable. The fool whose mind is deluded by egoism thinks, I am the doer. Even sages cannot know God by their own selfishness. God is limited and God is unlimited. One who is not subject to any definition. He who obeys God will never sin, because he knows that his soul is God. But even if they do, it is difficult to show God's character in daily life. That's why Lord Krishna explained the meaning of God. Self-contemplation, forgiveness, patience, understanding, non-violence, moderation are all qualities of God. God is everything. He is the omnipresent soul. God is not only a wise man's wise. A gambler's gambling is all for him. This means that there is nothing but God. It means that you should not see anyone with enmity. Everyone has the right to respect you. God is common to everyone, but only those who have a pure heart can worship Him in their hearts. The senses are superior to the gross body, and superior to the senses is the mind. Beyond the mind is the intellect, and even beyond the intellect is the soul. Is it enough to read or know about divine nature of God? God should be seen through Atma Darshana. Common problem for many people in the world is they don't realize God. A person who does not let his mind wander and control his mind can see God. The interesting factors about Vishwarupam will help you to meditate. God works everything through time, kalam. We are the instruments of time. Let us rely on this to pass through time and try to be one with God. Recitation of Vedas, severe penance, or charity is not enough to know God. Bhagavad Bhakti is the only royal path for one to attain God. Elevate yourself through your own efforts and not degrade yourself. For the mind can be the friend and also the enemy of the self. Meditating on the formless God beyond the mind is not easy for everyone. At the initial stage, everyone has to worship some form. A sincere devotee is one who is doing service to everyone and at the same time think of God all the time. It will help you to free yourself from the birth circle and reach God. If you don't learn any kind of yoga or meditation, then don't worry. Do all the daily activities in the name of God. Even if that is not possible, then do your duty. Be indifferent to the results. You will reach the highest step in the ladder of yoga. Who is the real devotee? A true devotee is friendly with everyone. He is kind to all. He is simple and without ego. Not affected by pressures and sufferings. Fear and tiredness won't come to him. He is desireless and pure man. Praise and scorn do not affect him. He does not think that everything is done by him. Such a devotee is dear to the Lord. Now itself you become such a devotee. Those who are disciplined in eating and recreation, balanced in work, and regulated in sleep can mitigate all sorrows by practicing yoga. Bhakti leads to meditation. Bhagavad Jnanam is the ultimate goal. Parabhakti is Jnanam or the highest wisdom. But what is Jnanam? Doing with the mind or thinking is not Jnanam. Bhagavan gives explanation to Jnanam. Non-arrogance, non-violence, patience, kindness, devotion, continuous efforts, equanimity of mind, strong devotion to God, seeing God in everyone. These are jnanam or wisdom. God is everywhere as wisdom. By wisdom, we can realize God. Worshipping Him who is seated in your heart is the supreme end of worship. Charity given to a worthy person simply because it is right to give without consideration of anything in return at the proper time and in the proper place is stated to be in the mode of goodness. The three nature of men, sattva, rajas and tamas, bind man to this world. Sattviga karma leads to happiness, wisdom and desireless. Rajas karma leads to misery. Tamas does not give anything and is without knowledge. He who overcomes these three natures attains the state of immortality. He only knows about the soul. He is jnani. Recognizing that the soul is beyond these three natures and that it is only a witness, he will constantly focus on the Lord. He overcomes these three and get rid of births and deaths. Sattva attaches one to happiness, rajas to action, while tamas, covering up knowledge, leads to inadvertence also. Cut down the tree of sensual pleasure. You will never be satisfied with the pleasures. The state of Paramatma is great. Repeatedly chant and surrender God is the only liberation. At that time, the supreme level of Jivatmas and Paramatma, God is beyond both the perishable body and the imperishable Atma. Therefore, worship the Lord and become one with Him and attain liberation. Atma Jnanam is becoming one with God. For that, you have to be divine. You have to grow your divine character and remove your asura nature. Divine sambattikal or divine nature is impartiality, peace of mind, constant meditation, charity, desireless, selfless service, honesty, non-violence, self-sacrifice, forgiveness, peace, and compassion. These are the virtues that we should cultivate. Arrogance, anger, cynicism, cruelty, ignorance, desire, and lust are the evils that we need to get rid of. Remember that you must avoid the 3 gates of hell: lust, hatred, and greed. One of 3 natures, Sattva, is very close to God. If you want to achieve divine, increase the Sattva quality in you. For that, you should choose the Sattva of all. You eat the sattvic food, which gives long life, happiness, and prosperity. Do good with body, soul, and speech. Do charity with the sense of duty, without expecting any favor in return. Chant the mantra Om Tat Sat and proceed with all your karmas in daily routine. Increase your sattvic quality and become divine. Don't give up charity, service, and bhakti at any time. Do this without expectation, reciprocation, and without the feeling of self-ego. By analyzing good, bad, fear, fearlessness, freedom, attachment, increase your sattvic intelligence. Don't get lost in the state. Keep your senses calm and meditate on the sattviga strongly. At the beginning, you may not like it, but in the end, you will seek the heavenly healing that can bring joy and great happiness. Avoid sense gratification. Know the best Bhagavad power of God. At the end of the advice for Arjuna, Bhagavan has given 2 promises. Keep your mind on God and worship Him with devotion. No doubt you will reach God. Do all your duties upon the God and surrender Him. He will free you from all sins. Don't worry. Om Tat Sat.